Hey guys, we're here at day 2 of the Hollywood Poker Open, and we are here joined by ClubWPT.com qualifier Andy Whetstone, who had an insane day at the tables today, and is our day 2 end of day chip leader with 360,000, which is quite a bit more than anyone else, which is why you are our Rise Player of the Day. Congratulations.
Well, thank you very much.
I know that you came into the day above average and you were doing well on day 1. What were your expectations heading into day 2?
Well, when I started the tournament, I was really hoping to get in the top 30. If I made it to the top 30, being an amateur, it would have been a successful my first tournament. Now with the chip lead, I'm getting to think maybe the top 3, or maybe I'm being silly, but that's what I'm hoping for. If I can get in the top 3 now, I'll be really proud of myself.
Do you remember how many chips you had at the dinner break?
I was about 83,000, I think.
Okay, which isn't much more than you started the day with. It was after the dinner break. There was a short span of, I don't know, maybe 15 minutes. You busted 3 players in 3 separate hands.
Right, wow.
Hoyt Corkins, you know, there are a lot of people in your position who see the WPT on TV and say, man, I would love to go in there, play one of those events, be up in a hand against someone like Hoyt Corkins and be able to snap him off with aces. You got that opportunity.
I did, and I didn't even know it was Hoyt because I'm used to the cowboy hat, and he was all Unabomber. He had the cloak and over his head. And I didn't even know it was him until he actually stood up and it gave me a crack that I deserved. I was shaking so bad that I couldn't even count my chips to see if I had him covered. And he said somebody's going to have to count his chips for him. and he nailed it too, because there was no way I was going to be able to count those chips.
Now, I did pay you a very nice compliment, because before the flop with your aces, Ali Islami limped for 1,000, Hoyt raised to 4,000, you min raised to 7. And Hoyt said you played it perfectly, you suckered him into the hand. Hoyt had ace-4 of spades, flopped a flush draw, and you got him all in on the flop. He praised you. I've heard several players praise you.
Well, that's very nice of him, because I mean, when I saw his hand, I was thinking, he's going to hit his spade. He's going to hit the flush, and I'm going to be gone. But when those 2 clubs came up, and they were both black, so it didn't help until I actually could focus on what they were. But when they were both clubs, I was just... whew. But then I didn't even have time to take a breath, and the next thing I know, I'm right back in another big hand, and it was like, I was so nervous. I bet wrong, and they had to call in and get a ruling. I was like, whew, this has got to slow down a little bit.
Yeah, this was the Luke Stoutenmeyer hand.
Yes.
He was basically all in before the flop. You called from the button. You kind of undercalled, and then they rode you. Called the full 14,000. Big blind called, so you basically have a side pot going, and you had what hand?
I had a pair of 5s.
And you flopped... Nothing.
It was Jack 6, 3.
There wasn't a lot on the board that I thought.
Jack 6 deuce with 2 clubs. So he bet and you raised him.
Right. I was thinking, well, I can push him off, and even if he has a little bit better hand of 6, then maybe I still have it.
All right, and then you.
A pair of 6s.
Nothing on the turn. Check the turn, and you hit your set on the river.
But it filled the flush too, and so he threw out a small bet, and I thought, well, he could be trying to get me to raise him and then come over top of me and really hit me hard. So I thought, well, you know what? I've got this big pile in front of me. Let's not get too greedy. I just called him, and it turned out that the set took it.
All right, so we got a nice rundown of how your day went here today, but what we haven't talked about is how you got here. Play on ClubWPT.com, $19.95 a month. What kind of tournament did you have to take part in to get to Indiana?
Well, the Event Seat tournament was one of the biggest tournaments that you get to play on the site. And, of course, it has the biggest reward at the end. I believe there was over 1,800 players starting the tournament. And it was one of the funnest tournaments I played, and all the tournaments are fun. I play quite a bit. My wife probably wishes I would not play all the tournaments every chance I get, but I really love it. I get on, and my kids are there, and it was right the day before Valentine's Day. And so when it got down to the last 2 tables, my wife was sitting right there on the recliner and with her beautiful smile, and we were having so much fun. We really started out good. I mean, that the second to the second table knocked out like 3 players in 5 hands. And
that sounds familiar.
And then we went to the final table, and I knocked out 2 players in like 4 hands. So I had almost 1 million chips, and the next closest player was 133K. So I thought, okay, I might really have a chance. Well, when it got down to the last 3, I was in 3rd place.
Ooh.
But I was able to fight back, and it was a really good heads-up play. We came down to the last hand. I hit a straight on the turn, and he hit 2-pair on the river, and I had been slow playing a little bit on the straight. When he hit his 2-pair, he went all in. I had him.
So now if you can just script that ending to this tournament, and
Then we'll be good to go.
Then I'll be seeing you at the next tournament.
Oh, that's right. You'll get the championship seat too if you could win this one. So you've said the tournaments are a lot of fun. Is there something in particular about ClubWPT.com that you really like about the site?
Well, I think for me, married, 4 kids, I really can't afford to go out and gamble, like a professional. So here's a site that you pay a certain amount of money every year. I like paying the annual fee because I save 25%. And so that's all I'm risking. And then there's all these wonderful prizes, and look at what could happen.
So no matter what, you're never committing more money. Anything you win is kind of gravy.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
All right, well, guys, don't forget that you can sign up for Club WPT yourself. Just go over to ClubWPT.com, check it out, sign up, win your seat into a $10,000 event for $19.95 a month.
And as a Rise Player of the Day, you're going to be getting some Rise gear, hoodie, hat, some other things. If you want to pick up some Rise gear, you can go to riseclothing.com or follow them on Twitter @ShopRise.
Join the WPT. You won't regret it.